Alright guys, it is time for my Super Nintendo collection. Before I actually start, um, my games are organized in three ways. I have games in a drawer. My Super Nintendo games are organized in three ways. I have some games in a drawer, some games out on a shelf, and then some games in a special drawer. The games in the first drawer are just loose, unalphabetized. They're sort of common titles uh, that didn't really make the grade to be on the shelf. The ones that are on the shelf are not necessarily rare or anything like that, but they're sort of the nicer titles, some that I play more often. And then the ones in the special box are my more rare, expensive games. So first we're going to go with the ones that are unalphabetized and are just sort of there. They're in a drawer and they're ones I don't play too often. And then we'll go into my boxed games. We'll do all the games and then boxed and then systems and accessories and stuff like that. So let's get started in the unalphabetized ones, and let's hope they don't fall this time. The first one is Sim Earth. I really didn't care for that game. Couldn't get into it. Next one is Terminator 2, the arcade game. Now, I might do a quest for the best movie game on that, because it is the only Terminator 2 game I have. Next up is Home Alone 2. That's not very good either. The next one, Super Play Action Football. And after that, Caesar's Palace. I actually have the box and manual for Caesar's Palace, but the box is crushed, and the manual's sort of torn, so I just keep them separate. Next is Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure. It's okay. Next up is Jungle Strike. After that is WWF Raw. Now, I actually don't even play this. I'm not a huge wrestling fan, and I know a lot of the guys that are in the YouTube community are. So if somebody is interested in that game, I don't play it at all. So if you want it or something, maybe we can do a small trade. Just let me know. Next up is Beavis and Butthead. This game is pretty good, but it's a little tough. It's a little tougher than I thought it'd be. I haven't played it in a while, though. Next up is Lethal Enforcers. This game is pretty fun. It's a light gun game, kind of like a early rail shooter, I suppose. The next one is Ken Griffey's Presents Major League Baseball. This is a good baseball game. Very easy, and it doesn't really take itself serious. It's sort of like a cartoony a little bit. Next up is the classic NBA Jam. I love this game. Absolutely love it. It's really the only basketball game I play. Up next is Roadrunners Death Valley Rally. It's really not very good. At least I don't really enjoy it. And after that is Urban Strike. Now, whoever had this game before me decided it'd be a good idea to put a sticker right on the end label. So when I took that off, it tore the end label. Alright, next up is Monopoly. It's Monopoly. It's okay, I guess. You can't really screw that up too bad. Next up is the other NBA Jam Tournament Edition. A lot of people like this one better, but I actually prefer the first one. Next up is Separation Anxiety. It's got Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage, and I don't know who that guy is there. The orange one. I don't know who that is. Next up is Tasmania. This game's not bad, actually. It's pretty good. Sort of simple and a little boring, but next up, NFL football. Just a football game, I guess. After that is the Lion King. I haven't actually played this one yet, but if I remember correctly, I think it's pretty good. And a lot of those Disney titles, like Aladdin, they are good. So we'll see. This one is Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City. Haven't played that one yet either. Down to the last three. Another copy of NFL. This game's okay for golf. PGA European Tour. And last but not least, Family Feud. I like that. It's sort of hard because the answers are all 80s kind of answers. Okay, so the next games are alphabetized, and they're on the second shelf. First up is Battle Clash. That's a Super Scope game. After that, Darius Twin. That's a shooter. After that, it's another Super Scope, The Hunt for Red October. After that, the classic fighting game, Killer Instinct. It's okay. It's kind of like a Mortal Kombat, I guess, but a little different. Next up is King of the Monsters. I never really did get into this one, but it's okay. After that is Mario Paint. This is the one I have that does not have the mouse and the pad and all that. Next up again, another Super Scope game is Metal Combat Falcon's Revenge. Oh, I like this game a lot. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is actually a fun game. It's a beat 'em up. It's a little on the easy side, but I do enjoy it. And this one I don't enjoy as much. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. It's just something about it I really don't care for. And after that is Mortal Kombat 3. Not a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I actually prefer Street Fighter. Kind of. On home consoles, I prefer Street Fighter anyway. Next up is Pilot Wings. I could never play this game, and I don't know why. It's like a flight sim. Next up, this one's sort of new. I just didn't do a pickups video. It's called Romance 2 of the Three Kingdoms. I don't know. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, I guess. Alright, next is Spider-Man and X-Men Arcade's Revenge. Oh, sorry. Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge. It's decent, I guess, for an LJN game. Next up, the classic, Star Fox. You gotta love Star Fox. Fun game here. A little polygon graphics, but that's fine by me. And then after that, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Probably my favorite one that I have of the Street Fighters. After that is another Super Scope game, I believe. Super Battle Tank War in the Gulf. I don't know much about that one. I only played it like once, I think. And then it's Super James Pond. He's like a frog, I believe. It's decent, I suppose. And then next is everybody's favorite, Super Mario World. And then after that is Super Scope 6. This comes with the an SNES Super Scope. And then after that is Super Putty. This one's okay. It's kind of a puzzle game. Next up is Super Star Wars. I like the Star Wars games, but they're a little difficult for me. Next is the sequel, Super Empire Strikes Back. This is actually the first one I had, I believe. Oh, no, this is the last one I had. And it is also difficult. Now, the final one, Super Return of the Jedi. This is the first one I had, and they're just all so difficult. I don't play it much because they're so difficult. Next is the everybody else's favorite, Super Mario All-Stars. That's the compilation cartridge, as I'm sure most of you know. The other Street Fighter game, Super Street Fighter 2. I'm missing two Street Fighter games. I'm missing Street Fighter 2, the original, and is it Street Fighter Alpha, I believe it's called. Here's another Super Scope game, Tin Star. I don't know if I've ever played this one. I don't play the Super Scope much, but whatever. Here's a pretty decent racing game, Top Gear 2. It's got a tag in the back, but Top Gear 2, it's alright. Then X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's a Capcom game. It's a beat 'em up. It's definitely playable. And then last but certainly not least, my last Super Scope game is Yoshi's Safari. I love Yoshi's Safari. That's a fun game. Excuse me. Okay, so what do we have next? Boxed games. I'll do boxed games, and then I'll go into my special drawer. Alright, the first boxed game is Alien vs. Predator. This poster right here is actually where this came from. This needs a manual. There's a manual on eBay right now, but it's a little expensive for just a manual, so I'll wait. The next one is Arkanoid Do It Again, I guess is how you would say it. This one's beat up, but I found it at a Goodwill for, I think, $2. So the next one is one of my prized possessions, a complete Contra 3. This is probably my favorite Contra game. Next up is a complete Doom. I love Doom. This version's just mediocre, I'd say. Next is a complete Final Fight. I like that game. It's alright. Then this is also probably, I'd say, my most prized Super Nintendo game. If I had to keep one, I'd say this is it. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. That's also complete. And then also Super Mario Kart complete. The box is a little crushed up here, but it's not bad. And also, I need a new cartridge for this because the cartridge is in pretty rough shape. Okay, and then last and 100% not least, this is also a prized possession. And the reason I have this and Super Mario RPG is because when I first started collecting, I wanted to focus on Super Nintendo. After I saw most of the prices, I tended to shift away from the Super Nintendo. But I didn't shift away before I got this game, and that's Super Metroid, complete in box, basically in mint condition. Also a fantastic game. You gotta love that. Okay, so now let's take a look at my special drawer. Here it is. It's a Nintendo 64 drawer. Don't mind the Atari book up here. It's a Nintendo 64 drawer, and here they are. It holds 64 games. It'll hold Genesis games, not the greatest, but it does hold them. It holds the small carts best. These ones it doesn't hold so well, but it does hold these games perfect. So let's start. The first one is Battletoads in Battle Maniacs. The next one is Castlevania 4. After that is Donkey Kong Country 1, Donkey Kong Country 2, and Donkey Kong Country 3. After that is Kirby's Avalanche. Then Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Mega Man 7, Super Bomberman 2, a very fun game. I highly recommend that. Super Mario World plus, or Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World. And then right after that one is a must-have, Turtles in Time. You have to get Turtles in Time. And then last and certainly not least, Yoshi's Island. Alright guys, so now I guess I'll show my consoles. Here's my Super Nintendo. I've had this for a long time. It was actually my brother's, and he gave it to me. It's a little beat up. Like, there's a few marks up here, and there's some dirt on it. I could get it off if I cleaned it, but I didn't. All the hookups here. And then here's the one I custom painted black. I had to order a purple Nintendo sticker, which, by the way, I love. Purple Nintendo sticker. It looks pretty cool. This here is the Battletoads logo. Well, I'm looking at the Battletoads Super NES game, and it's the logo's not on the cartridge, but that is the Battletoads logo. There's one on the side. Oh, is that paint coming off right there? Yep, it is. Huh. And then there's also one on this side, and the bottom is also black, and there are the hookups. So that's that. And also here is my box Super Scope. This is 100% complete. I already showed the manual, or the game. I don't really want to get this out, because it is a pain in the butt. And it kind of stinks, because the guy that owned this before me smoked. So it does smell like smoke. And I actually did forget two things, so I got to get those real quick. Alright, got them. Alright, the first accessory here is Mario Paint. 100% complete. Mouse pad, mouse, manuals, everything. And then last, certainly not least, of course, is the Super Game Boy. This is also 100% complete. Book, everything. Okay, guys, that's all I have for the Super Nintendo. But before I go, my next video is going to be Sega Collection. And I have so much Sega stuff that I'm probably going to split it up into 2 parts. And I might hold off on a couple days on that because I have some Sega stuff coming in. And I'm 10 seconds away from hitting the 15-minute mark. So guys, thanks for watching, and look for more collection videos coming up.